Hey there. So I am thinking about summiting and climbing. And the reason I'm thinking about that is, of course, because I'm doing a women's summit. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, but you can call me Pajama Grandma. In case you haven't met yet in my frozen pajamas, go ahead and put hashtag pajama in the comments below. So no, it's the first time you're being exposed to the Pajama Grandma. Today is actually day 369 of me documenting my journey as I transition from the offline brick and mortar world of what I like to believe is real business to the online world of business and marketing and commerce, because I've learned that almost every business needs to have some sort of an online footprint, online presence in order to be successful. With everybody, oh, not everybody, but just about everybody. I don't even know how many cell phones are in circulation. There's billions of cell phones in circulation. Billions of people have access to smartphones and the internet. And if you have any kind of product or service, if you want to be found and discovered, the first place people are going to look is in their hand to find out about you. And if they can't find you, if they can't find reviews or comments about your product or service, if they can't find you sharing your product or service or valuable information or something about your organization, you're never going to be found, and you're going to end up disappearing into oblivion because no one's going to find you. So I'm thinking about climbing and summiting and the process of putting together a summit because it's new for me. And it's just like climbing Mount Everest. I watched that Mount Everest show on not HBO, on Netflix with my son several years ago now. It seems like a few years ago, but it was several years ago, because he was going to make a trip to Nepal and to Mount Everest. And I will just be really honest, as a mom, that scared the living crap out of me, especially after watching the show. So I know he thought it was a good idea for me to watch the show with him, but I'm not sure that that made me feel better about him going. He did go. He had a great trip. He did not summit. He ended up getting high mountain altitude sickness and being flown off the mountain, which of course isn't long lasting as long as you're cared for immediately, which he was. That's the advantage of trip insurance. And ended up meeting a young lady who's now one of his best friends and traveling around in Nepal for another month and then in Europe for another month after that. So it was kind of his trip of a lifetime. And I'm really, really glad that he got to do that, because after that, at the end of the year, he was in a very bad car accident that pretty much fucked up his life for the rest of it, for the next 5 years till it went to trial, which was a joke. And even though he won his case, he lost, and I can't believe I'm talking about this. And so he'll be impacted for the rest of his life by that, and I think that's the lesson we need to learn, is that some things will happen to us outside of our control, and we just need to figure out how we're going to handle them and how we're going to deal with them and how we're going to move forward in our life. I guess things like that happen to pretty much everybody, and we all need to figure that out. Off topic for the summit, not even sure why that came up. Maybe because the snow is blowing outside my window, and it just reminded me of cold, hard facts of life. Things happen, and we just need to figure them out and deal with them. So the summit, it's launching live next week, and I am putting one foot in front of the other to get it done. I'm still interviewing. I'm still grabbing assets, putting things together, creating the funnel and the graphics for it, which, theoretically, all of this should have been done a month ago, and I should be spending this entire month just promoting, sharing, putting out teasers and things on social media and advertising or whatever, sharing it with the people that are participating and have them do the same, share it with their audiences. I didn't do that. I didn't plan a long enough timeline to make that happen. So yesterday I got the idea, okay, I committed to myself that I'm launching this the last week of January. I committed to the speakers, I'm launching this the last week of January. So guess what? I am launching this next week. It will go live next week. But what I did decide is that I'm doing a soft launch next week. Next week will be a soft launch. I'll put it out there to meet my commitment to myself more than anybody else. The easy road would be to say, oh, I didn't get it done. I want to make sure we do a better job promoting it. I'm not going to launch it. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to soft launch it, and then like an early bird launch. And then in about 3 weeks, after 3 weeks of, next week we'll launch it, make sure all the bugs are worked out, and then we'll start promoting the living daylights out of it, sharing it with everyone. And then I'm thinking 3 weeks is a good, maybe that's too long. I will do some research and figure out what is the optimum time to to promote before actually launching the physical live summit. And I will launch it again in February with the promotion and the attention that it deserves, because I think that's only right. So we'll do some early bird things on the launch next week, and then we'll take those early bird things away, and we'll really launch, because I want to get a waiting list out and do it right, because I know how to do it right. I just didn't have enough time, being a new project for me, to do it the way I think it should be done. So instead of doing it a disservice and not meeting my commitment to myself, it's launching next week, soft launch, and then we'll do a hard launch. Not a hard launch, but I don't do anything hard. Not a hard launch, but a launch with the attention that it deserves a few weeks after that, so that people can promote it and get it out there and get the word out. I will say the information in this summit is too good to just throw it out there and hope people find it. It's not fair to the women that can benefit from the incredible information that's shared in it. It's not fair to my speakers or to myself to just do a half-assed job of it. So we're not going to. I'm going to soft launch it. We're going to, it's like a beta test, putting it out there, beta testing it, making sure everything works properly, because chances are everything won't work 100% properly. I'll miss a link, I'll miss a picture, I'll miss something, and I want to make sure that that doesn't happen when we actually promote it and go live with it. So that's what I'm working on. And I'm thinking sometimes it's like climbing a mountain and summiting. It's just putting one foot in front of the other to make sure that the pieces fall in place. And then after, it's pausing along the way and testing and making sure that everything is working and the components are working properly, so that we get a great outcome, so we get the results that we want. Because this is not going to be the only summit I do this year. This is just the first of either 4 or 5. I'm going to learn from this one. What does the timing really look like? What do we really need to do to make sure that it runs smoothly and that it meets people's needs? And I also want to check back with and touch base with the people that participate in this first summit and find out, did you get what you wanted out of it? Did you get your questions answered? Did you get your needs met? And if not, how can we improve on the next one? Because I want to make sure that each summit, I'm all about continuous improvement, gets, excuse me, better and better and better and better at serving the women business owners' needs. So that's what I'm working on. That and moving. Big time. I've had a really slow week with respect to packing and moving, and I need to light a fire under myself to get that done. But the actual building the components for the funnel and the promotion and the emails and the lists and things, that it always takes me way longer than I think it's going to. I'm very meticulous. I'm slow because I have a hard time deciding on simple things like, what color should the summit be? Don't have a brand logo yet because I don't know what that should look like. I don't have a clear picture in my mind of what should, I haven't even, I'm calling it a women's summit. What even is that? I mean, it needs a better name than that, which is probably why I have not picked the domain name, which is why I haven't picked the colors. It just hasn't come to me. What is it? What is the right, what feels right? What are the right colors? What are the right words? What is the right message to resonate with the women that will be served best by this summit? So it'll come to me. I'm just waiting and it'll come to me. So that's all I have to say today about my transitioning from the offline world of business to the online world. That's what I'm working on. What are you working on? Working on anything exciting? And then I will throw a little plug in here. If you are a woman business owner for any amount of time, I mean, if you've already launched and started your business, even if you've only been in business for a month, there's things that you can teach other women, because there's a lot of women sitting on the sidelines, waiting for something, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the right time, waiting to know something else in order to start their business. So the fact that you've just jumped in and started is enough to be motivational and inspirational to other women that haven't done that yet. So wherever you are on your women's business ownership journey, there's value in what you have experienced already or what challenges you're facing. And I'll not only be interviewing women on my podcast going forward, and I have been on topics, but also there's all these other women's summits that are coming up. And if this customer summit proves to be as important to women as I think it's going to be, it doesn't mean that we won't do this again. It doesn't mean that we won't find other women business owners that have even more, because the world's always changing. that, how we attract and how we deal with customers today is very different than how we attracted and dealt with customers even 5 years ago. The internet has changed the game in terms of how we reach customers and how we communicate with people. It's created a very equal playing field, and it's made it possible for small business owners and entrepreneurs, and women business owners in particular, to compete with the big companies, the big organizations that, back in the day when the only way you could reach people was through television or radio, which is super expensive, or magazines. Those days are over because there's an comparable component available on the internet for a fraction of the cost. The biggest challenge now is breaking through all the noise and all the attention and all the competition that's out there now, because it has made it more affordable for more and more and more organizations and businesses and people. That's it. Go out, make it a great day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.